Okay. Took forever to try and get this to work. I don't know why. Anyways, so we can see here, Tryndamere on our team is ultimate derp here. Like, he just kind of ran down bottom and went and hid in the bushes here. Throughout the rest of the game, our Tryndamere doesn't really seem to give a fuck. He kind of just does what he pleases. But anyways, this is kind of an odd game, just for the fact I'm going AD Lulu in this. This isn't my complete build, I don't think. I think this is close to it, though, like why I try to build in this game. But like right here, look at what Tryndamere does. This is like such a dick move here. So we've got, look at this, this is ridiculous. Okay, right here. So Tryndamere is gonna help Gangplank leash blue, right? Right? Okay. So he goes in and starts attacking, and just give it a second here. I think I actually look over here so it shows a life or not. I can't remember which. But watch what fucking Tryndamere does. Yeah, I start looking here. Watch this shit. He fucking just, fuck you, takes blue, and then leaves. He just leaves. He's like, fuck you. So our Tryndamere pretty much did not give a fuck. He kind of derped it the whole game. But anyways, even more derp is the fact that Gangplank was supposed to be jungling, right? And Tryndamere is basically going to fucking take top. Like, that's what he was supposed to do, but he basically got owned, like already Gangplank did. So our lane assigns were all fucked up. I just said, you know what? This game is fucked anyways. And then their team is like all junglers. So I just realized, you know, fuck it. We're in Fuckville game. Like, I don't even give a shit. So I said to Ash, do you just want to take bottom so you can get good farm or whatever, you know, and help out Sona, and I'll just take mid just for the fuck of it? And she's like, sure. So I said, okay, so I'll take mid. So pretty much, like, at this point, you know, our team just really didn't give a shit. But, yeah, so. I'm gonna make sure the audio levels on this are okay. I might lower it just a tiny bit. It's hard to tell sometimes, like, if the audio levels on here are bad or not. If it's, you know, if I'm overpowering the game or if the game's overpowering me. But here's the thing. While I'm farming here against this Lee Sin, here's why I pick AD Lulu. A lot of people are like, why don't you build her AP? Why don't you build her like that and everything else and all that stuff? That's definitely a build that works. AP does. And so is just a straight support build with support items and all that stuff. However, in my opinion, an AD build works also. And this is why. I'm going to tell you right now. The complete build I've settled on is somewhat of a hybrid. And what I've settled on for a complete build in most cases is berserker greaves for the attack speed, obviously. Bloodthirster for sustain and damage. And then what I also like to get is Nashor's Tooth. And the reason I like to get Nashor's Tooth is because it gives me 25% cooldown along with my 5% runes cooldown, my cooldown I get from my runes. And that's 30% right there, which, again, for the way that she plays, is very useful. Because it makes her already decently low cooldowns even lower, which allows me to basically spam abilities. And then I also get a abyssal scepter, which lowers the enemy magic resistance and gives me some AP and gives me some magic resistance, which are all important. And then Nashor's Tooth also gives me ability power too. And since it gives me ability power, I've got about a good, I think if I calculate that out right, it's about a good 140, 120, something like that AP, which isn't a bunch, but it definitely helps my abilities a little bit, you know, and it's good to get that. And then I get Black Cleaver, because Black Cleaver drops their armor, as you know, and it gives me attack speed, and it gives me damage. And Nashor's Tooth also gives me attack speed also. And then I get a, what was the items I get after that? Oh, I get a Madred's bloodrazor, which gives me armor. It gives me a little bit of damage, and it also gives me attack speed. But even more importantly, it also gives me magic damage. And I want to lower their magic resistance with the Abyssal Scepter, not only for the damage that will be done with the Madred's bloodrazor, but also because of her passive, which is why some people build her attack speed, attack damage build. Is because her passive, as you can see here, fires 3 extra bolts that deal a total of 33 magic damage, and that damage goes up as you go up in level. I believe it goes up to somewhere like 150, something like that at max level, which may not seem like much. But if you have an attack speed of like, you know, 1.7, 1.8, I think I finish off with, you get that, and then you've got, you know, an extra 150 magic damage each time you attack, and you've lowered their magic resistance, and you're doing the madred's bloodrazor magic damage, that really stacks up. You know, if you're hitting it, it's extra damage. I think there's actually a calculation on the League forums that a Teemo and a Lulu with the same build, a Lulu will actually do more damage, just because of the fact of that extra damage from her passive. So, and that's assuming they're not using any of their abilities. That's assuming no toxic shot and stuff like that. So, yeah, so I mean, like I said, you know. But I find that that's good because, one, the abyssal scepter gives me an aura shield, which allows me to drop the enemy magic resist and stuff like that for my team. And then my black cleaver drops the armor for whoever we're targeting and focusing also, which also helps out my team. Now, did I get that as the right amount of items? I got bloodthirsters, bloodrazor, boots, nashor's tooth, abyssal scepter, and black cleaver. Yeah, okay, that's right. So all that's in there and stuff like that. What I generally try to build, though, first is I try to build lifesteal first for sustain and lane, and then I go for just regular boots, and then I go for the stinger, which is what builds into nashor's tooth, and the stinger gives me 10% cooldown and some attack speed. And then I go back and I get berserker greaves, and then from then it kind of depends on the game. Like, you know, it depends on how the game's going and stuff like that. But I do try to get madred's razors. Is that right? Is that what it's called, madred's razor? Am I getting that right? Let me make sure. Or no, I'm looking at damage. I want to look in damage. Yeah, madred's razors. I want to get that first because that gives me a little bit of damage and armor, but more importantly, it gives me a 20% chance to do 300 bonus damage to minions, which lets me farm a lot faster, and so I actually leave madred's razors until the very end of the game, because once you get bloodrazor, you actually lose that passive on your madred's razors. So I try to leave that for last in the game, the madred bloodrazor. And I'm gonna sneeze. So our trend is kind of derping it here in top lane. He keeps on going like balls to the wall against this Mundo, and I don't know what the hell I'm moving around here for. I'm like fucking drunk with my mouse moving. I got really bad allergies, so yeah. Sona and Ash are doing fine bottom lane. I point out that a Mumu's coming there. They got it warded, but you know. Love spring. Actually, I hate it. I hate summer because it's too hot. I hate winter because it's too cold. I hate spring because of allergies. So fall is pretty much my favorite season. Fall is perfect. And my birthday's in October, so it's even more perfect. It's right there, you know? Anyways. So, right here we got a fight going on. I'm trying to get down there as fast as I can. I'm running down there. That's what I like about Lulu, too. I haven't even gotten into her kit yet, why I like it. But her W is real good for movement speed. It lets you get down places real quick. Mumu drops his ultimate. Ash says fuck off with a perfectly placed arrow. Very good on that. And the aptly named, well, I got the kill on that one, but whatever the fuck. I told Gangplank I was trying to let him get it, but yeah. I tell him right there that I was mean to leave him, but you know, what are you gonna do, you know? He gets a bunch of kills over this game anyways, over the period of this game. So it's no big deal. Anyways, so the thing about Lulu's kit, here's what I like. Why I like building her attack speed, attack damage, hybrid, whatever the fuck you want to call whatever my build is. Here's why I like it. Her Q, no, here's the thing I should clarify. All of her kit, except for arguably her shield, is pretty much just as good as if you have a shit ton of AP or if you have no fucking AP. Because what's really good about her kit is the utility of it. That's what's good about it, is the utility of it. The Q slows regardless of your AP. Don't matter what fucking AP you got, it still slows. And that's the main reason I use that Q, is to escape from enemies, which it's really good on because it's 2 bolts. So you can hit 2 enemies at once with it. Great for escaping, and even better, the bolts don't stop when they hit something. So the bolts will continue, so if you've got like the whole team chasing you, fire those fuckers backwards and slow the whole team. So in that fact, the fact that, you know, what's it, 4.9 cooldown, like barely 5-second cooldown, and once you get Nashor's Tooth, it's like 3 seconds or some shit, you can basically escape from most enemies in the game, no problem. It's great. You need to fire that fucker off constantly. And look at that, 80%, dude, 80%. I mean, that's a slow right there. That's really useful. And then her W, as most of you probably know, is her trademark spell, which transforms an enemy into a squirrel. And as you can see, the chat is kind of exploding because we're all kind of butthurt about trend. But anyways, so her W will it's called polymorphing. It'll turn them into a squirrel, and while they're in that squirrel form, they can move. They are slowed and stuff like that from reducing their base movement speed by 60. They are slowed, but they can use summoner spells, I believe. I think they can use summoner spells, but they can't use their own kit, and they obviously can't attack. So this is real great if you want to focus an enemy that's really high attack speed or high damage. Like, let's say you got a Fiora kicking your ass, turn her into that, fire off a Q, get the fuck out of dodge. That's pretty much how it goes. And it's great in team fights too, because if you got a tank or something like that that's soaking up all the damage or whatever, that's really high CC, or you've got an enemy that's got a really damaging ult, like say Kinnon's ult, and you see him running in there, just fire that polymorph off, his ult's disabled, and he runs in harmlessly, and your team just knocks the fuck out of him. So it's great, it's great. And her Q is great for farming too, because look at that. It goes right through a wave of minions, knocks them down right to the perfect level where you can just get last hit on them. So it's great. Her E is probably the only, her E and her Q, or her E and her R, sorry. Her E and her R do build a lot off of AP, and it's probably more useful to have AP for those, which I'll explain why. But her E allows you to shield yourself for a set amount of life, and then it also will give whoever you shield your passive. And we got Mundo, but not a Mumu. I think Gangplank goes in after a Mumu. I think we get him here. I think we get him, yeah. Now, I was kind of a dumbass here. I kind of failed. I tried to help him out there with a Mumu, and I didn't really realize how low I was and kind of died. But it's all right. No problem.